So we're on the road. We're leaving Georgia, headed to North Carolina for the Farm Where You Live conference. Hey guys, Brandy here. I'm in the truck, but we just arrived to the Farm Where You Are conference in Asheville, North Carolina. And so we're going in. They have all kinds of great conferences going on all day long. They also have like a big expo. I think it had hundreds of vendors and things like that that you can also go and see and do all the things. So anyway, I don't want to waste any time. I'm super excited. Joel Salatin's here. He's got a couple conferences. Sow the Lands, Jason's here. Whispering Willow Farms, Jill is here. Dom is here from Faith Family Homestead. So there's just a lot of great people here. So a lot of great classes. So going to learn. So once we arrived, it was really easy getting checked in, and we went into where the vendor hall was as we were trying to get acclimated, and there was Joel Salatin right there in front of us. It was so exciting to see. So this was one of the classes that John went to on how to raise rabbits and butchering rabbits, and he came up on this portion of the class, and he said it was over pretty quick, but it was good information if that's something you're interested in.
So thank you all for joining me today as I'm talking to you all about the Tiny But Mighty Farm, which is really just how to maximize a small space. So I'm Jill Reagan. I own Whispering Willow Farm, and I'm the author of the book, The Tiny But Mighty Farm. And for those of you who maybe don't know who I am, I'm going to give like a quick overview of who I am and what I do. So like I mentioned, I'm Jill. My husband Nathan and I, we farm full-time with our daughters. We're in central Arkansas. I've been growing food for a really long time, and really the goal is 9 feet tall. And they go all the way to the top of this trellis system. And we're pruning every single week, so we've got better airflow. We don't deal with any disease. Last year was the first year I completely switched to hybrids in my high tunnel and completely switched to this trellising system. I didn't have a single aphid. I didn't have any plants that had pest or disease. I dealt with no issue. Now part of that's crop selection, right? I chose those varieties that were bred to be pest and disease resistant. Part of that is soil management and maintenance. Every single week I'm adding prebiotics to my soil to give those plants what they need. So then a huge part of that was just a good trellising system, right? Where I allowed good airflow. I was essentially just telling this plant what to do, and it did it beautifully. And so for me, that's a really big deal.
So there are lots of great vendors in the expo hall, and I found several to participate in and things that interest me. And then it was time for Joel's big speech.
And so we want to make decisions that are based on truth. And so what are some of those benchmarks? And so this little list that I made is not just for farming, although that's the basis of it, but it's for anything. And so if you're not a farmer or you don't really have an interest in that, I don't know what you're doing here, but if you are, it can apply to other things. So, here we go. The first item, the first benchmark, truth, is does it build carbon? Does it build soil? Have you ever heard of somebody going down to the bank and getting a business loan where the banker sits back and says, this is a great business plan, but in fact, it's so good, I think we're going to be a millionaire. 15 years, half of all America's agriculture equity is going to change hands. Half. That has never happened in any civilization voluntarily. It's only happened in conquest. The Huns override Rome, or the Vikings overrun, Great Britain, that sort of thing. It's always, now, I'm not predicting that we're going to be overrun by conquest. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. I don't know. What I am suggesting is that that level of agriculture equity change has never happened in history.
Getting to meet Jill and getting my book signed and all that was wonderful. It was such a great experience. And getting to talk to Lorraine from Sow the Land just topped the day.
Permanent, put it all in temporary, and then you can pull stuff and adjust it over 2 years. Okay?
So after the conference, we headed up to Asheville, to the downtown area in the Arts District, and this was their community garden in the middle of town, which I just thought was wonderful. I love these kinds of things. And we enjoyed our time up in Asheville and kind of seeing the sights. But we ended up heading back down to Hendersonville, which is the apple capital of North Carolina, and the University of North Carolina, where lots of agricultural practices are discovered and studied and so forth. And so these were some of the apple orchards we went to. They're doing a lot of different methods. This was a weeping spruce. I thought this was the most beautiful tree I've seen. So thanks for watching, and I'll put a link in the description for the conference in May.